Does it ever occur to women that maybe a guy might like to have a plan? Because he's nervous. He's not sure that he could just walk up to you and you respond if he said, "I like you."
Yeah, so that
I
guy that turned and
like
said, I tried that one time, it didn't work
I
well. Yeah, see, look,
like you.
that's me. It even looks like me. He just doesn't have a beard. He's bald. It's true. It's true.
That part.
I think the point is being vulnerable to say something, not knowing what's going to happen. And that's a part of the human experience, and that is something that you need to teach your kids is to not be afraid to fail. That is something that my parents never taught me, and now I definitely have anxiety over failure. It has become, it's a thing for me. So yeah.
I find it interesting. Hitch is actually one of my all-time favorite movies. So
it's underrated.
Definitely
for sure.
Underrated. Sounds kind of corny, but when I was pre-Cindy, I actually remember Hitch was the go-to movie to pump you up as a dude. You're like, all right, I gotta have a little bit of because if you remember the whole movie, there's so many actual good lessons in it, and you're like, oh, shit, it's a Friday night. I'm gonna go out with the boys. Let's see what I can get done. Let's see if I can meet a girl. And I'd watch the movie Hitch, and I'd be like, okay, I'm pumped up. I know what to do. And then it would never work. But there's a lot of great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, I totally get that. So when I was living in Huntington Beach, I used to go out with my cousin, and she was a teacher, but she had a lot of really attractive friends, right? And they'd be like, oh, Natalie's baby cousin's gonna come out with us. And I'm just like, you guys are all super hot. Yeah, But I'm pretty sure my cousin was like, none of you talk to him ever. So
that's how I felt with my sister. My sister was prom queen, kind of growing up. She was that prep. And she had all the girls, though. All of her girlfriends were preps. And I was like, hello. So never worked out, though. I think I dated 3 of her friends, but that got awkward. But it's just it's you see it so much where so many people are afraid to say or do or even just have a casual conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're not. It may even go anywhere. I think that goes back to just having the right intentions. Because even when they say legally, what was their intentions? What was the intention? You get that a lot in the military. It's
what was the intent? Yeah.
What was the intent? That's where it all starts.
Yeah.
Was it really to fuck up the gears, or was it, hey, he meant actually in a good way and this just went bad? I feel 70 to 80% is the intent. So what is your intent when you meet somebody? What is your intent? Are you just trying to get in their pants? Or you actually genuinely just actually, I'm not even trying to hit on her. I'm just saying, hey, she took it that way. Is that on her?
Yeah. I don't think that's a highlighted enough part of society today, especially for men. My son, I hope that someday he asks me hey Dad, how do I talk to girls? Or how would I,
Yeah.
I couldn't come to my dad with that kind of stuff. He was always too busy or tired or, whatever. Just didn't feel comfortable doing it. So, and that's an area that I saw that I didn't get any instruction on.
Mm-hmm.
So, when Wally gets a little bit older, I'm going to be very, have really good intent and be very intentional in how, we talk about that stuff and make sure that I cover, some important things that did not get covered for me, because I don't want to set him up for failure the way that I was. Yeah. And it wasn't even intentional, It's probably because my dad, his grandpa, didn't do anything for him. So he just didn't know.
That's true.
Yeah.
Really true.
But don't be afraid to put yourself out there. I mean, yeah, that's right, man. You gotta, it's your thing with the, the exec, you put yourself out there, you didn't really know what to expect.
Yeah.
And then there was some weird stuff that happened with it and some misunderstandings. And a lot of it is just a lack of communication or knowing how to communicate. You don't even have to be really that good at it. You just gotta start.
I feel you just have to go organic.
Yeah.
Sometimes I find out. So I'll take when you install a computer, right? Or you try to when when you're trying to get something set up for somebody else and then you don't even test it out, and then no, that's a bad analogy. So we're setting up a station for the new senior that came in, his workstation, and I'm setting up his desk and I'm setting up his computer, and I had somebody help me, and I was like, they're like helping me configure it all, and they got everything plugged in, the tower, everything, and just trying to make this easy for him. And I remember asking the dude, I was like, well, the airman I was working with, I was like, did you try it out? Did you put your CAC in the computer? Did you just log in and see if everything works? No, I didn't do that. I was like, you're doing like 80% of the work. You're not wanting to do like, the last.
You're missing the most important part, because if that senior had come in there and it didn't work.
I mean, that just would start his day off bad. Like,
yeah.
I log into my computer every now and then. I like having a MacBook. Bro, you want to know something crazy? Dude, we went to Disney and I put my laptop on the floor by my bed, which I learned never do. And then I stepped out of the bed at like 5 a.m. in the morning, stepped on the computer, cracked the screen down the middle. The moment I heard the crack, I was like, fuck. So I open it up and there's a nasty crack up the screen, and I'm like, so I got a new MacBook. I got the MacBook M4 or whatever.
Ooh, nice. Yeah.
Right? Bro, it did not compare to my original laptop. So
yeah.
This was crazy. So I spent a lot. Cindy got annoyed because I did a return, buy, monitor setup, this, that. I had to figure a whole new setup. But so I had my laptop still worked. I just had no screen really that I could do with. And then I bought the new laptop, which had, everything good for it. Anyways, besides a few of the differences where you can't overload it as much, it outperformed the newer laptops. So I ended up bringing back the new laptop, and now I'm just kicking it with my 2018 M1 because it outperforms it still.
Yeah. Dude, I rocked a 2012 MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
Up until like last year.
Yo, that's great.
They just work. They just work. Everything works on them. You rarely ever run into any problems. Like, why can't life be like that? Or why can't Windows do that? Like Microsoft. Like, you guys, it's almost like you just got a bunch of different colored glitter and put it all into one jar and shook it up and like, here you go, Windows 12. Like,
they're like,
yeah.
You got to test out the water. You got to test out, like, I guess what I'm going back with that analogy is like, you're doing 80% of the work, 90% of the work. You're setting up the station, you're getting up to work, and then you don't even slide your CAC in to see if it starts up. And I guess I want that analogy to be really taken home with my kids. Just like, if you're going to commit.
The golden rule, right? Do unto others as you would do unto yourself. If you're going to do something for somebody, make sure it's good enough that you would do it for yourself. Like, how would you make it good for yourself? Do that for that person because they may need it more than you know.
You never know. You never know what somebody else is going through.
Yeah. And it's just the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually, Senior said that to me, actually really good advice. He was like, you never know what somebody else is going through. And if you twist a situation, because I used to kind of do a manipulation. And I would manipulate things for my best favor, for my best interest.
Yeah.
Or for me in the best favor. And then he actually called me out on it. And that was one of the best things that I learned. I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. He's like, the moment you start twisting things to change the outcome to your favor, you're manipulating. And he's like, you just got to cut it and just shoot from the hip. Know what your goals are. Know what you want to do. Like, teach Wally if you wanted me to grow, I want you to be with a girl. I hope you end up with a girl, but your goal is to follow your passion and just line things up. Don't twist, manipulate, change outcomes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know your grandfather at all? On your mom's side?
No, I didn't know none of them.
Dang, dude, I'm really sorry.
Do you?
I had one good grandfather, right? My mom's dad, he wasn't really that great. But my dad's dad, he was a World War II vet.
Damn.
And yeah, dude, he landed on D-Day like first wave. Seen just some of the gnarliest human carnage in the last 150 years. But the grandpa I know, Papa, he just loved us, and he just loved us unconditionally, and he just wanted to spend time with us. And he grew up really poor, and he grew up out in the woods. Things he liked to do is he liked to take a BB gun or a 22 rifle, and he'd grab a walking stick. He'd just walk. He'd go outside and walk up and down our dirt road for an hour or two. And he loved it when we came with him, because he'd be like, "Hey, see that branch up there? Why don't you go ahead and see if you can hit it?" It was like, "Oh yeah, all right, Papa." Like, that was some of those were some pretty foundational memories, I think, for me. And it was a good example of how I would like to act towards grandchildren if I ever had any someday, was to just enjoy the time with them. And then the fact that we got to enjoy a thing with him that he also really liked, I think it did him more good than it did me as a kid.
Oh, I see what you're getting at with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you actually brought that up even with using your dad you brought that up with the softball analogy. I remember that.
Yeah. Yep.
You did not like it, you hated it, you absolutely just didn't even like doing it, but it was the one thing you had with your dad.
Yep. Yeah, now it's a little different now I'm older. There's some other things we have in common, but yeah, it's just people are different. It's okay, even your parents. It's all right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Different walks of life. All right, let's fucking
Yeah.
go.